Feeling like I should. I'm all good. I'm all good. Never knew I could. I'm all good. I'm all good. Feeling like I should. I'm all good.
Rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. It does not matter who I am. What matters is who you are. Yeah, because that's going to be the important portion as we are hanging out, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. So hopefully we are calling this non-fail technology Tuesday. I mean, I don't know. Yesterday was a fun and hideous event of some things that did take place. So if you were hanging out yesterday, well, apologize about some of the multiverse issues that we were having. But let's get into it. Today's Tuesday, November the 1st, also known as Sam Hain, day 305th of the year. Yes, that's how it goes. 305 so far as we are hanging and banging. And let's see, only 60 days left to go. So how are things with you? Are things good, important, going, moving, grooving, all that fun stuff? Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues that we do stuff at
Radio Big.
Yes, we are hanging out with our friends at Radio Big. Because, you know, that's what we do. We hang out with our friends at Radio Big. We kind of hang out with our friends all over the place, but we kind of are broadcasted by our friends over there on Radio Big. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk real quick. We do a lot of stuff going on this particular show. If you want to interact with the show, it's an easy thing to do. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That'll get everything moving and grooving for you as we are hanging out and doing the things that we do. So that's not a problem. If you want to come and hang out, all you have to do is go to Call In Radio. People are already telling me that it looks like it's downy outy on the LinkedIn side, and that's perfectly fine if that's the case. If you want to come out and do the stuff that we do, it's not an issue. All you have to do is go to, you ready for this? I'm going to go slow with this one. You go to safetyfm.com or you go to radiobig.fm or you can go to safety.fm, whichever one works better for you, and click on the section that says visual radio. That will get everything moving and grooving for you. So no problemo right there. So sorry about the LinkedIn thing. I guess we'll have to take a look at that again today and see what the hell is going on over there. But with that being said, let's talk about what is trending.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so taking a look at what is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, of what was happening, what was going on, and what was trending. Well, Happy Halloween was landed on Twitter's top 10 yesterday. Monday, Twitter users posted, their costumes, their decor, and their candy, and lots of candy that was. Also, Stargirl was trending after news broke that the CW show will end with its current third season. Yeah, Stargirl is coming to an end. Hey, can someone tell me what Stargirl is? Okay, so yeah, that's coming to an end. Affirmative action was trending after the Supreme Court debate about the issues on how it relates to college admission on Monday. And then she did it was trending on Monday as Swiftie celebrated the new record set by Taylor Swift's latest album, Midnights. We can talk a little bit more about that if you carry about what the hell's going on there. So just some information on some things, because that's what we do. We talk about the stuff that it is going on inside of here. So if you're new over here and you have never heard this before, it is a cluster, because there is no other way to explain it. We talk about safety in the news and safety. So that's kind of an easy portion of what we do here. But with that being said, we bring in some professional broadcasters. They tell you what's going on from their perspective, which is a great thing. Then I come back in and do the razzle dazzle and talk a little bit about the things that are going on. So that's what happens. Anyways, before I forget, I want to talk about this real quick. This event, people wanted it, so here you go. In first quarter of next year, Safety Differently Conference occurring in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Yeah, Santa Fe, New Mexico. The Safety Differently Conference really, it's a workshop. So if you want to find out more, safetyfm.io. That's it, safetyfm.io. That will get you moving and grooving into the move of the things of what you can take a look at, what will be going on, safetyfm.io. If you care to know more about it, it will be occurring. It looks-y like in March. So there you go. Everything that you need to know about Santa Fe, what to do, all that fun stuff is right there about what exactly is going on. So there you go. Some information there. Well, anyway, so with that being said, let's do this real quick. Let's get the professional broadcasters in here and let them tell you what is going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brad Siegel. The man accused of attacking House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband is being charged with attempted murder.
The charges that we are filing today include attempted murder, residential burglary, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, false imprisonment of an elder, as well as threats to a public official and their family. That's
San Francisco DA Brooke Jenkins, who also announced that and other charges Monday against 42-year-old David DePape. He's accused of attacking Paul Pelosi with a hammer after forcing his way into the couple's San Francisco home on Friday. More than a dozen people are wounded following a drive-by shooting Halloween night on Chicago's West Side. Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown says there are 14 victims.
We don't have any motive. We don't have any offender identified. We don't have any conflicts on this corner where it happened.
The group was attending a vigil for an unrelated incident. All of the victims were hospitalized in various conditions, including a 3-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 13-year-old. One person is dead, 6 injured in a shooting at a Halloween party in Kansas. Police say between 70 and 100 high school-age students were gathered in a house in Kansas City when the shooting happened Monday night. Kansas City Police Chief Carl Oakman says 2 of the injured victims are in critical condition. No arrests have been made. The Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates again when it meets today and tomorrow for its November meeting. The Fed has carried out a series of rate increases in recent months in an effort to fight inflation. Candy wrappers are piling up on this day after Halloween, but don't toss them out just yet. A local company in Washington is hoping people will take part in Trick or Trash so the wrappers can be recycled and turned into plastic bags. Simply drop them in boxes set up at schools and businesses in the D.C. area. Last year, about 6,000 pounds worth of plastic candy wrappers were collected. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Vladimir Putin says Moscow's suspending its role in a deal allowing the passage of Ukrainian grain. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting the scene on Tuesday of a bridge collapse which killed over 130. The South Korean government's promising mental health support after the Halloween crowd crush, and the UK Home Secretary is under fire from critics for using what they say was inflammatory language in describing a migrant crisis in southern England.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
The Supreme Court is leaving a TSA mask requirement ruling in place. More from Brian Shook.
The High Court on Monday allowed a lower court ruling to stand that said the TSA could require airline passengers to wear masks during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. A California lawyer argued the agency did not have the authority to mandate masks, but an appeals court ruled the TSA can take such action during national emergencies. The move by the Supreme Court leaves the precedent in place. I'm Brian Shook.
A former Michigan police officer will stand trial for the death of a black man during a traffic stop. Chris Schur is charged with second-degree murder for the death of Patrick Lyoya of Grand Rapids. The judge in the case said there are questions that need to be decided by a jury. The panel will consider if Schur's actions rise to the level of murder and whether he acted in self-defense. A new report shows an increase of California businesses picking up and leaving town. Matt Mattinson has more.
Research from Stanford's Hoover Institution shows the rate of companies leaving the Golden State doubled last year compared to 2020 and 2019. The rate also shows that it tripled from 2018's number. The report cites high costs for businesses, which forced them to make the move elsewhere. Some notable corporations like Tesla, Oracle, and HP Enterprise moved its headquarters to Texas. But it's not just big companies. The increasing rate also includes smaller tech firms looking elsewhere, and the report says that's not good for California's economic growth.
Open enrollment for Obamacare starts today. Last year, around 14.5 million people bought plans through the Affordable Care Act's insurance exchanges. Even more could sign up this time around. Prices are going up 4%, but that could be offset significantly through financial aid. The World Series between the Astros and the Phillies set to resume tonight. Game 3 in Philadelphia was postponed Monday night because of inclement weather. Game 4 will be Wednesday, Game 5 Thursday. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow! Awesome! Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, yes, it is so lovely, Tuesday. So there you go. So let's start talking immediately about some of the stuff that is going on inside of this world of Phantasmarama, because that's how it seems like from time to time as we are doing some of the stuff, as we are talking and doing. So with that being said, let's give it from the very top of the list. The remaining top executives at Twitter worked with Elon Musk's personal lawyer over the weekend to plan the company's first round of layoffs, which in the Washington Post reports will cut about 25% of the 7,000 headcount. Meanwhile, regulatory filings show the Twitter board of directors has been disbanded, leaving Musk in full control of the company. A separate filing shows that all-Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey rolled his shares into the acquisition and remains invested in the new Musk-led enterprise. Insiders tell the Post that no formal communication about the layoff plans have been made to the staff. Worth noting, there still hasn't been an official announcement about the takeover from Twitter's communication team either. So there you go. It seems like there's information, and then there's disinformation, and then there's information that you probably didn't want to know about.
Duh.
So some stuff to talk about as we are moving. Anyways, China's space agency has launched the third and final component of its permanent space station into orbit. It will join the orbiting Tiangong station, which has accrued full time since June by 3 Chinese astronauts. The new addition heats up the intensifying space supremacy race between China and the United States. The new module will allow for expanded research experiments in zero gravity. It also includes an external arm to assist with docking cargo. So the space race continues. Maybe that's the first thing to talk about. And then going to the acknowledgement of going, wow, this is really going to possibly change some things that you didn't expect to change. But what is going to happen in the long run of the life of times of things that are going on? Maybe that's some things to think about, because who knows? I think who knows what will end up taking place in the long run, you know? Because here's the gig. We talk about these things. We move through these things, but what will happen? I mean, is the space races, you look at it, do you go, who's going to be there first, and will this be a hostile takeover? Because maybe that's some questions to think about. Anyways, Darrell Brooks, who was convicted last week of killing 6 people and injuring 62, will be sentenced on November the 15th between victim impact statements and other testimonies. The hearings are expected to take place over 2 days. Per the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, courts of records indicate that Brooks plans to appeal his conviction. No word whether he'll represent himself again. So it'll be interesting to see what is going on. Anyway, security camera footage from a restaurant near Oklahoma City shows that robbers crashing to the floor after climbing onto the air duct on the ceilings. The second break-in attempt of the restaurant in recent months, the first time the safe was completely cleaned out. Now the owner says the security was beefed up and that the crook only made out with some electrical tablets. Wouldn't that be electronic tablets? But hey, whatever. In a moment of shocking compassion, the ripped-off owner tells local ABC affiliate KOCO, or KOCO, that he has a message for the thief. If you need some help, need some money, you know we don't mind. You can come ask, pick up the trash, or we'll even hire you. Everybody's hiring. I mean, it's interesting to hear that compassion, because you already know that the Jerka Urkso that actually broke into the place has other plans. So I guess it's kind-hearted, if you kind of take a look at it from that fashion, of what the owner is doing. Because, you know, some people wouldn't show that kind of level of compassion when it comes to things, if you really give it some thoughts in the long run.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so just in time for Halloween yesterday, the Guinness World Record certified that the heaviest pumpkin ever in North America, weighing at 2,560 pounds in Half Moon Bay, California. After being recorded as the heaviest, it took the global spot of the world's heaviest jack-o'-lantern after the eagle head was carved into it. The pumpkin also scored the record of the largest jack-o'-lantern by circumference, just over by 20 feet. So hold on. What about the people that don't actually use the feed system? I mean, what's that going to mean to them? I mean, they're going to be like, what the hell does this even mean? I don't know. I mean, just stuff to think about. Anyways, with that being said, I think it is time to bring in some Smalls of John, or John Smalls, and let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. Equity markets pulled back Monday after a weaker than expected reading of the Chicago PMI. Came in at 45.2, which is not only contractionary, but a decline from the previous month versus the expected improvement. The takeaway from the data is that general business conditions in the U.S. have entered a contraction despite what the latest GDP data indicated. This, along with the index of leading indicators, suggests a worsening economic backdrop and not one that is improving. Later this week, the market may also be impacted by the NFP report, as well as another large interest rate hike from the FOMC. The market is pricing a near 100% chance for another 75 basis point interest rate hike Wednesday, but the news may be in the statement. After the latest PCE price index reading, it looks like the FOMC will have to get more aggressive and possibly keep policy tighter for longer than has already been indicated. The good news is the S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average have had the best October in decades. If this action continues into November, it could be a November to remember. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thanks, John Smalls, for that with the November to remember. I have to tell you, there might be a copyright issue with that one, because I know of some person that puts on premium live events, formerly known as pay-per-views, that had that name. So anyways, with that being said, let's talk about this. The Dow lost about 128 points on Monday, closing at 32,732. The S&P lost about 29 points to close at 3,871, and the NASDAQ lost about 114 points to close at 10,988. The West Texas Intermediate closed at $86, and Brent crude closed at $92. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.76 on Monday. Bitcoin fell sharply on Monday after losing about $230 after the afternoon rally, trading close to $20,400. There was 2,172 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States, and 245 of them were cancellations. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about it because it is Tuesday. Let's talk a little bit about the Charty RT, about what the hell is going on over there in that sequence. So coming in at the number 5 spot, according to Spotify, take a listen to this. It's Shaw with Shirt. At number 4 was Harry Styles, was As It Was. At number 3 was Sam Smith and Kim Petras with Unholy. At number 2 was Taylor Swift with Anti-Hero. And at the number 1 spot was Lift Me Up. Taking a look at the other side of the equation, which would be iTunes, it went something like this. Meghan Trainor, Made You Look at number 5. At number 4 was Taylor Swift with Antihero. At number 3 was Sam Smith and Kim Petras with Unholy. At number 2 was Jin with The Astronaut. And at the number 1 spot, according to Spotify, that's a lie, according to iTunes, was Rihanna Lift Me Up. But I guess if you want to really tie that in, it was also the same thing on Spotify. So if you take a look around, it is a combination of things looking together. So take a listen to this in regards of some things that is going on inside of the world. More than a dozen people are wounded following a drive-by shooting during a vigil in Chicago's West Side. Perry Williams has more information.
PD Superintendent David Brown says at least 14 people were shot last night as they gathered at the corner of California and Polk.
We're deploying extra police resources in the area to make sure that we can prevent any retaliation if that's something that's real.
All of the victims were hospitalized in various conditions, including a 3-year-old. A woman who was attempting to flee the scene was hit by a vehicle and taken to the hospital in fair condition. I'm Perry Williams.
Okay, so there you go, Perry Williams with the stuff that's going on. So as you know, we are in the U.S. here on that verge of things going into election season as votes go off next week, unless you're doing early voting. So take a listen to this. Campaigning between New York Governor Kathy Hochul and Republican challenger Congressman Lee Zeldin is heating up with the election day now 1 week away. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis showed up for Lee Zeldin over the weekend, and yesterday Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin stopped by.
Oh, you got Kathy Hochul kind of bumping along the final term, and here comes Lee Zeldin on the outside.
Former President Barack Obama did a campaign for as well, and Hillary Clinton hit the campaign trail. Governor Hochul is campaigning in the Bronx today, while Zeldin has stops in Staten Island and Long Island, where he lives. Governor Hochul continues to hammer Zeldin on guns.
Come here today and tell us that you've got a tough-on-crime plan that's just soft and squishy on guns.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there as politics continues to go on as we are talking a little bit about politics. I guess I could mention this. President Biden will be in Florida today to boost the Democratic candidates ahead of the midterm election. Biden is expected to make campaign stops throughout the states, including Miami Gardens, where he will campaign with governor candidate Charlie Crist and Senate candidate Val Demings. RealClearPolitics.com says that both Democrats are trailing in their races. So there you go. Let's talk about this real quick, because here we go. While there has been no big jackpot billionaire winner in Halloween night Powerball drawing, some people who bought tickets in New York are walking out being millionaires. Take a listen to what Jennifer Pelzoni says.
Those tickets. According to the Powerball site, a ticket was sold in New York that matched all 5 white balls, equaling a $1 million prize. New York also had a winner that matched all 5 white balls with the power play option that upped the $1 million prize to $2 million. There were 134 tickets nationwide that won a $50,000 prize, and another 23 tickets that won a $150,000 pot. Wednesday's jackpot growing to be Powerball's largest prize in more than 6 years. Jennifer Bolsoni, NBC News Radio.
So are you going to be playing for the $1 billion? Are you going to play the game, see what the hell goes on if things work out in the way that you would like them to? I mean, hey, I'm not going to blame you if you do that. If you get the chance to play the game, you should do so. Anyways, take a listen to this. A young man is recovering after being shot following a New York City Halloween parade in Greenwich Village. Jennifer Pelzoni with more.
Police say a 21-year-old man was shot multiple times along East 13th Street near Broadway late Monday night after the Halloween parade in the village had wrapped up. Those still partying in the streets weren't sure if it was gunfire or fireworks. Rattled by the violence, the man taken to Bellevue Hospital and is expected to live. No arrests have been made. Jennifer Pelzoni, NBC News Radio, New York.
You know, I have a hard time understanding this. Because, listen, you go to a parade because you're at a parade. I mean, that's where you're at. And your intent of going to this parade is to pull out a gun and shoot people. for no rhyme or reason. And I mean, when I say rhyme or reason, let me kind of give an explainer here because I think that that's needed. Now that you should go shooting people, period. But what is the intent of you going to a parade to do this? It just doesn't make a lot of sense when you start thinking about it, about the things that are going on. I mean, it's just weird. It's just real weird. Talking about shootings, I got another one for you. So take a listen to this. 1 person is dead and 6 have been injured following a shooting at a Halloween party in Kansas. Mark Mayfield has some more.
70 and 100 high school-age students were gathered in a house in Kansas City, Kansas, when the shooting happened on Monday night. Kansas City Police Chief Carl Oakman said the trouble began after a group of uninvited guests were asked to leave the party and that at least one person in the group began firing into the crowd. Oakman says 2 of the injured victims are in critical condition. The suspects are believed to have fled in a dark SUV. No arrests have been made. I'm Mark Mayfield.
I mean, I don't know what kind of party this is, besides a younger gen. But come on, your idea was, okay, things are not going well. I essentially just got kicked out of this party. So in return, I think that it's a good chance that I should just shoot the place up. I mean, I just don't get it. I am so confused sometimes on some of the stuff that is going on inside of this world. That is for sure.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, I don't think I need to say it. It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and do that thing that we do.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's talk about this because I think that we need to have, a chat. We need to have that conversation of things that are going on inside of our world, things that are going on that we need to discuss, things that are going on that we tend to limit what we do. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you about human capacity because I don't think that that's going to be the portion that we need to focus on. But what we are going to talk about is how we are able to do things inside of the world of what we do for work. Because we can talk about human potential. We can talk about capacity driven. We can talk about variability inside of an organization, but we can also talk about why do we put limits on people inside of the organization based on a title. Yes, I did say that. Why do we put limits on people based on a title? Listen, I understand that there is still this idea of you are the VP, the president, you are blah, 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 blah within the organization. And listen, that's important to some. It's important that they have the longest listed title on a business card inside of the organization, the biggest position of power. But where I struggle with this is the limitations that we put on people within the organization. And let me kind of give the explainer, because I know I'll have somebody come into the chats and say, well, why don't you just hand over the checkbook and let them do whatever they want? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is them having the ability and the capability to speak on things that are going on within the organization. Where if they see there is an issue within the org, they're able to talk about it. They're able to turn around and say, this needs to be corrected. And they can have this discussion regardless of what the position is within the organization. And I'm talking about things that matter within the org. For some reason, we decide to put all these things to committees. We decide to put all these things where we turn around and go, well, as the organization runs, we should limit what this person can say because they don't have fancy-antsy title. And it's kind of weird. Now, I understand there's a lot of organizations out there nowadays that will turn around and have a group leader, junior leader, supervisor. I get that. That's fine. But why is it that we look at the people in the field and go limitation based on X? I will tell you this, and I am pretty sure that some of the people that I get to interact with will not love this, especially from a company standpoint. But there is a good chunk of time that I get to go to organizations, and the biggest thing that I learn is the issues that are going on within the organization from a perspective of a field person, and I, in turn, repeat the same information back to the organization. I don't think it's magic. A friend of mine told me this a long time ago. He told me you cannot be a prophet in your own land. And I have used that and said that several times, regardless of where I'm at, because he is spot on. Why is it that we can't have conversations with people, especially if we've known them for a long period of time, and say, this is what is recommended? And listen, I am not saying you should go around and try to fix everything that is going on, because that's not the case. What I think of right away is you work around the things that are not good in an organization. I was listening to a story yesterday where this person was struggling with the letter R every time that they would say it. They were a performer, so the letter R was difficult for them. So instead of focusing on the failures, the writer that was helping this performer out wrote a whole script for them with words that did not have the letter R. I'm not saying go out there and this is what we need to do for everyone, but think about this. Think about this for just one moment. Why are we not able to take assistance from people inside of an organization that don't have, quote unquote, a long title or a fancy title? If we truly want to be a learning organization, keywords there, keywords, learning organization, we have to be willing to take information, input from people that you would not expect. Think about it for a moment. I will tell you, I can go to a class, and I've kind of taken that class several times, but I will take the class again because there might be that one nugget that I did not get the first time, or the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time. So imagine the knowledge that these people have if you allow them to speak, if you allow them to communicate. And I'm not saying put a box, a recommendation box, a note box, all that weird stuff. Let them do their thing. Let them talk the way that they want to. I think our world would be much different if we would allow the people that we work with speak their mind about exactly what is going on within our organizations. Think about that for a moment.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
It's like a dream, so let me never wake up. I'm so hung up on myself, just like a stick in the mud. A little time, a little patience when I got tired of waiting. Then I found that gem within me sticking out of the mud. And they ask me why I do it, I'ma say this because it's gonna be the best I know, just like we be at Emirates. Ask behind me like a book bag, hang it down like a plate. Focus on the future, like that coulda, shoulda. Feeling like I should, I'm all good, I'm all good. Never knew I could, I'm all good, I'm all good. Feeling like I should.
There you go. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. This is coming across on Radio Big and Safety FM. This one right here is from All Good, or this is called All Good. You can find this on Spotify and iTunes. This is by Tara Thompson. Thank you for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So always some good stuff as we are hanging around, doing our thing. Yeah, that's how I want you to feel today. I want you to feel all good as we are talking Because it is important. It is important to feel all good and doing all the fun stuff that you get to do. And I mentioned this for a reason. Because there are people out there that are struggling. And they feel like they are a burden to this life. And they're not. And I always want to make sure that they know that. And for those reasons, on a daily basis, I like to talk about this. And I'll tell you, it happens more than once. And that's talking about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and loved ones. They also have the best practices for professionals in the United States. It's a simple process in regards of being able to get in contact with them. All you have to do is dial 988 on your cell phone, on your landline. Text 988, or you can go to their website at 988lifeline.org. Those will be the simplest ways to actually do the process. I mentioned this because it is a conversation that should be had all the time. And at no point should anybody ever feel uncomfortable talking about this. Listen, they can help anyone struggling with suicide. They can even go into more specific things. All you have to do is go to their website to find out more. That's 988lifeline.org. So let's talk real quick about some things that are going on still inside of some of these news reports. So let's talk about it. Gen Zers are known for their laid-back attitude, and, well, they're bringing that onto the workplace, and that's evident in the clothes they wear, and more recently, their emails. TikToks with millions of views show that younger workers have moved away from ending their emails with the traditional sincerely best of or let me know your thoughts. Instead, Gen Zers, those up to age 25, are coming up with the usual closers such as lukewarm regards, see yes laters, all right, which for some brings up questions about their professionalism in the workplace. Another Gen Zer signed off featured videos posted by Chicago-based company Fox and Robin with more than 17 million views. Lets me know if you have any questions or don't. Tommy Flam, who founded the company, said, "We're all human. We're not robots. So I think that people found it refreshing to be able to talk to someone freely while they're still getting their work done." Some other novel work emails to sign off noted include, "Hee bye, see yas laters, and another day, another sleigh." Fine, but I'm more of one of those email endings with the word yeet and then gone. Around here, we're lucky if a Gen Zer brothers is to send the email at all. So there you go. Just some stuff to think about. I mean, I don't know. Do you have like a default email sign off that you do? I mean, because you would almost want to do, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Maybe that's the one to do. Maybe that's the one to talk about. I don't know. Just something to talk about. So in talking about things in general, it is the month of November, and a lot of people refer to this day as Movember. Starting off, which begins today. It's the annual event involving growing mustache during November to raise awareness for men's health issues such as prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and men's suicide. The idea began in an Australian bar back in 2003 when two guys challenged their friends to join them in growing stashes for charity. If you want to find out more about this, because I always think it's an interesting time, all you have to do is go to Movember.com. So instead of actually putting the N, you put M. So Movember.com. That will get you going through everything in case you want to take a look at what is going on. It will definitely make you question some things about life when you take a look at that in regards of what is going on. So let's talk about this. The water in Jackson, Mississippi is now safe to drink, in case you did not know that it wasn't before.
Antar Lumumba made the announcement Monday, saying the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and state health officials gave the city the green light.
We were informed that the city of Jackson is in compliance with the Safe Drinking Water Act.
Recent problems at Jackson's water treatment plant have left many residents without running water. Its emergency order remains in place. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that information right there. Makes you question some things if you're in that area for sure. We were talking a little bit earlier about elections coming up, so let's talk about this. The final week leading up to the 2022 midterm election is here, meaning that it is too late for El Paso County residents to send their ballot by mail. El Paso County Clerk and Recorder Chuck Barberman says that it's important for voters to understand it is too late.
That in after today and get it to us in time starts the law of averages start to work against you. So don't take the chance. Come and drop off that ballot in person.
Okay, it's because the mail in southern Colorado now goes to Denver for processing, so it may get back within a week. To make sure that your vote gets counted, you need to find a polling place or one of the many official drop-off boxes. The county has physically have had voter ballots by 7 p.m. on election night, which is Tuesday, November the 8th. Election officials say that they're likely to see 50% of the votes in by Wednesday of this week. So there you go. So if you are voting, I guess it is time to go out there and do that. So there you go. Let's talk about this. Mariah Carey is ushering the holiday season with a new clip. Trey Thomas has more.
Carey posted a short video on social media Monday night that shows her in a Wicked Witch Halloween costume and then turning into the Queen of Christmas, dressed in her Santa outfit as the calendar flips to November 1st. Billboard says Mariah's holiday classic, All I Want for Christmas Is You, is the most popular holiday song of all time. I'm Trey Thomas.
Really? That is the most popular holiday song of all time? Not Jingle Bells? Or something along those lines? We got to go with that? I mean, whatever. I mean, I get it, but wow. So we're in that time of the year where people start getting stressed out because they believe that they need to get gifts for everyone and forget that, this year Christmas is on December the 25th. Oh, but hold on. That was the same thing the year before and all that. Oh, but you get the point. Anyways, before you get too frustrated and flustered with that, let's bring some John Smalls in for him to tell us about the Motivation Minute.
Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Craig. Max Licato said, "We should love unquenchably, dream unfalteringly, and work unceasingly." I may need to look some of those words up. All joking aside, though, I agree. Give it your all. Dream big, love big, and put your heart into whatever you do. I worked with a guy who was passed over for a promotion. He had been there longer and thought that alone was enough for him to get the promotion, but his attitude was not great. He didn't put his heart into anything. He basically showed up and expected that to be enough. Well, it wasn't. He didn't get the promotion, and eventually his attitude got the best of him. When he was fired, he seemed shocked, but nobody else really was. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. Cumulative exposure to high blood pressure is now understood to be a big risk factor for dementia. Not just heart health, but also brain. Even moderate consumption of 7 drinks a week doubles the risk of developing stage 2 hypertension, and the risk goes up with a higher amount of drinks. One of the things that alcohol does is alter sleep architecture, either from withdrawal or experiencing its acute effects, like drinking before bed. Sleep plays a role in resetting the beta-reflex threshold, which is important for maintaining normal blood pressure. In addition to quitting or reducing alcohol intake, an analysis of 24 clinical trials found that people with high blood pressure who engage in aerobic exercise for at least 6 weeks experience a drastic reduction of systolic blood pressure. For more information on wellness, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, I guess trying to be entertaining is, a thing that is held against you nowadays. It sounds that way, that is for sure. Anyways, take a listen to this. A 16-year-old girl is still in serious condition 2 days after she was attacked by 6 of her family large dogs at her home in Thousand Oaks. Daniel Martindale has more info.
Ventura County Fire Department says the girl suffered several significant cuts and dog bites to her head, torso, and arms. The girl's mother was also bit but wasn't seriously hurt. Los Angeles County Animal Care and Control was called to take the dogs away from the home. It's unclear exactly what led to the attack. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for the information on what is going on, because that's always important to talk about and discuss. Let's get into some other news real quick as we are hanging and banging on this lovely Tuesday and doing the things that we get to do. Let's take a look around real quick about some things that happened back on this date, because I think it's always important to talk about as we are hanging out. If I'm taking a look around, let me see, back in 1998, 49ers Steve Young and Jerry Rice hook up for their 80th career touchdown in Lambeau Field. They would ultimately lose the game to the Green Bay Packers 36-22. The record was previously held by the Dolphin tandem of Dan Marino and Mark Clayton. That happened back in 1998. If you're looking at some reasons to, for some birthdays for today, I got some of that for you. Kaylee Bryant turns 25. Alex Wolf turns 25. Anthony Ramos, 31. Jennifer McCartney, she turns 50 today. Anthony Kiedis, from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, he turns 60 today. Tim Cook turns 62. And David Foster turns 73. If you're looking at a reason to celebrate today, I have some of those for you. It's World Vegan Day, National Cinnamon Day, National Cook for Your Pets Day, Extra Mile Day, Scented Candle Day, National Authors Day, National Vinegar Day, National Deep Fried Clams Day, and National Calzone Day. So there you go, a lot of days to celebrate if you are looking at that thing to do, that is for sure. If you need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. Sure, being an adult is hard, but can you imagine having to do math homework again? Especially with how they do math now. And then if you need a phone starter for today, try this. What actor or actress plays pretty much the same character in almost every movie or show they're in? Who said Jeff Goldblum? That's not very nice. If you need a water cooler for today or something for the water cooler, try this. 20% of office workers have done this at their desk. What is it? Brush their teeth. Brush their teeth at their desk. I mean, where do you spit? Where do you get the water from? I want to know. I have a lot of questions about that one, that's for sure. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what the hell we have going on. At the top of the hour, we will be going over to RadioBig.fm exclusively for the next couple hours or so. So if you want to come out, hang out, and do the things that we do on that side of the equation, very simple to do so. All you have to do is go to RadioBig.fm, go to the iHeartRadio app, or even go to TuneIn Radio. And we also have the Radio Big app if you wanted to use it in that particular format. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big. And that is the listener, because without you, we couldn't do what we do around here. So if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. Think about that if you do get a chance to think about it. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.